Coming up on Mountain News this morning, folks in Somerset are coming together to bring back a bit of certainty in these stressful times. And we take you to Johnson County. That is where two schools are putting aside a rivalry to celebrate the class of 2020. Plus, Kentucky Gives Day came up big for charities in the state, raising more than $600,000.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Many local restaurants are preparing to reopen right before Memorial Day weekend. Here are the biggest changes for customers. Well, actually, I jumped way ahead. Good morning. Your time is 5:29. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning into Mountain News This Morning. Before we get to that story, let's bring Brandon in this morning, get a better breakdown of what to expect on this Thursday. Brandon, good morning.
So the weather is okay, so you can go on with the news. Let's go on and see what's going on with the last 6 hours on satellite and radar in the sky. Started to clear this morning, a few stray showers still left over, and we're going to continue to watch that as we head through the first part of your day, but nothing major expected. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s this morning across the region there. 57 Jackson, Hazard, Prestonsburg, that's our warmer spots, Logan too, and you see a lot of upper 40s there in parts of the region as well. We take a look at our weather app forecast, and you can download that for free on your smartphone or tablet, and you'll see basically sunny clouds all day long. Those stray chances for rain can't be ruled out, but very minimal at this point as temperatures climb to right around 80 this afternoon. We teased that this warmer weather was coming. It's finally here. Will?
My turn now, Brandon. Thank you. Well, many local restaurants are preparing to reopen right before Memorial Day weekend. Here are the biggest changes for customers. If you do not live in the same house, you won't be permitted to sit at the same table. Drink stations, buffet, and children's play areas are all out. Also, restaurants can only use disposable utensils in menus. Again, these are only some of the changes that you'll see at Kentucky restaurants. Well, retail stores in Kentucky can reopen starting Wednesday with restrictions, and some of your favorites may be in jeopardy. We spoke with former economics professor Richard Crow on how these stores might have to find another way to sustain themselves. Crow tells us local businesses may be able to adapt by adding online stores due to active community support. But it might be a different story for chain retail stores, pointing out that this is merely the next step for an industry already in decline, thanks to the rise of online shopping. You can see this as some companies begin bankruptcy proceedings. Well, the drive-in option has been a popular alternative during the COVID-19 pandemic for movies as well as church services. But this time has not been easy for drive-in theaters. The Stanford Drive-In has been in operation since 1952, and it's one of the few drive-ins still in operation in Kentucky. Owner Denise Pike was at first told she could not open it all because the movie theaters were closed. But as the state gradually reopens, she's been given the green light. However, there will be plenty of rules to follow at the concession stand.
We have two registers that are 8 to 10 feet apart, and then we're going to have like only 2 people inside at a time per register, and that's meaning one and then 6 feet back the other one.
Now, Pike also says everyone will need to stay in their cars to watch the movie, and there will be no speakers outside. You will have to listen on your car radio. Well, this is a time where there seems to be a lot of uncertainty. But in One Somerset Neighborhood, certainty is found a brief window to come back every night at 7 p.m. WYMT's Connor James shows us how it came back was an accident, and the man behind it, well, he's not alone.
Chirping birds sing their song on the corner of Woodhaven Drive and Parview Court. But here among the flowers and fresh cut grass, there's another more resounding tune.
I think it really has been a calm during a time that everybody is just stressed to the max.
Jeff Snyder works in insurance. At 63 years old, Jeff is not just a dad, but a grandfather. And beyond that, he's also talented with the trumpet, which is where our story starts, back on a March evening.
You know, it's kind of a scary time, so I just kind of came out on the front porch, and I thought, I'm going to play God Bless America.
Alone, Jeff played that single song on the porch.
When I heard some neighbors clapping in the distance, after I got done playing. I didn't know there was anybody listening, but I was just kind of playing for myself, but apparently somebody heard me.
That March melody, now going into mid-May, can be heard almost every evening at 7 o'clock sharp. But nowadays, Jeff is not alone.
Lucy is talented well beyond her years.
Somerset sophomore Lucy MacArthur is 16. Lucy is like many students finishing up the school year from home.
It's been incredibly hectic.
But Lucy is not exactly your average student.
You know, this is all really a 16-year-old girl can do in this time. And seeing smiling faces from people that are stuck in their houses and not being able to do anything, that's worth every second of me playing my whole life.
For more than a decade, Lucy's played the violin. And now this unlikely duo play for a crowd of golf carts every night. As 7 p.m. approaches, this driveway dais
How are you?
brings in an audience of neighbors.
There's a big crowd tonight.
Everybody knows Lucy. Lucy, what are you going to play tonight?
Well, tonight I thought I'd play 3 songs. One is classical, one's really patriotic, and one is My Kentucky Home. So I thought I'd start off with the national anthem.
Here, just some simple songs can bring in hope.
We've gotten to know neighbors that we just otherwise would have never known.
Tune after tune, every note offers reassurance. The act altogether only lasts several minutes, but every second of each song is soaked in. And maybe this crowd just comes for the music. Or maybe, just maybe, it's when things are uncertain and up in the air that we find ourselves with both feet firmly planted in friendship and community. In Somerset, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
We have a good time, no.
Now Lucy is hoping to pursue a future in music. She says she dreams of playing in Carnegie Hall one day. Well, the class of 2020 has missed out on a lot of things, so schools across the region are working to help them feel a little special. In Johnson County, that means putting aside a school rivalry to celebrate their senior class. Bows are tied around the city as part of an effort between Paintsville High School, Johnson Central, and the Paintsville Main Street program. The black and blue bows represent the unity of the schools as they honor the class. Well, after coming back from Italy due to the COVID-19 outbreak, Maci Morris's next stop may be a little closer to home. The Bell County native was drafted by the Tennessee Conductors of the Women's Professional Basketball Association, according to the team's Facebook page. Morris is still with the USC Empoli in Italy as of right now, where she averaged 15.5 points per game during her rookie season. Now, all through the pandemic, we have brought you many drive-through parades, from baby showers to funerals. But what about a drive-through ring ceremony? The perfect 15-0 North Laurel Middle School Jaguars got their ring yesterday, each player separately, and everyone stayed 6 feet apart. Head coach Joey McKnight says although the ceremony is not what they hoped for, he's still happy to see his players' smiling faces.
Well, we wanted to make sure that we was able to have some type of celebration, and Coach Larkey had this idea to do this drive-through ring ceremony, and I wish we could have done it a different way, but it's kind of neat seeing the look on each kid's face as they get to look at the ring for the first time.
WYMT's Camille Gear will have more on the ceremony and their motivation behind the season in our 6 o'clock hour right here on Mountain News this morning. Well, this month is Elder Abuse Awareness Month, and this week is National Skilled Nursing Care Week. Two important things that the Wolfe County Health and Rehabilitation Center and Senior Citizen Center usually recognize and celebrate. This year, the celebration was a little different in the form of a parade. WYMT's Madison Pergram was at that parade and has reaction from people who participated.
I cried like a baby.
An emotional day at the Wolfe County Health and Rehabilitation Center.
This year, where they couldn't come in the facility, we thought we would be able to take their families to them.
And show up they did. Car after car filled with family and friends drives by getting to see their loved ones' faces.
Some of them's not seen their loved ones in person for probably 2 months now. So we wanted to give them the opportunity to do that.
With balloons and signs in hand and smiles on faces, the Wolfe County community did not disappoint the residents that lined the sidewalks.
I was just overwhelmed, I guess. Just the community support that we've had, the people show up to come and support us in this. I never dreamed we would have this many people show today, especially with the rain.
Then releasing the balloons in honor of Elder Abuse Awareness Month.
When they released the balloons, it was just really emotional for me.
At the Rehabilitation Center, one thing is for sure, the residents come first.
I don't think any of them thought it was going to be raining and cold, but they still wanted to do this. They wanted to see their loved ones. It's kind of like a party.
Rain or shine, it was a great day seeing the happiness shine bright on everyone's faces. In Wolfe County, Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, Kentucky Gives Day came up big for charities in the state. Kentuckians donated more than $652,000 to more than 200 nonprofit organizations in Kentucky. The money was raised in the 8th annual Kentucky Gives Day online giving campaign. The event has raised nearly $3 million during the last 8 years. This year, more than 4,100 people donated. Well, we've been following one Eastern Kentucky native's journey on this season of Survivor. We'll have the recap of last night's finale just ahead.
And the week finally starting to shape up a little bit weather-wise, dry into the weekend. We'll talk about it in 3 minutes.